This is a Ragnora deck. Looks like we've got Catalyst Quillbeast leaps out of me. But there doesn't seem to be any Blood Rage, so I have to conclude this is a control deck. Or I guess mid-range. No, there is Blood Rage. There we go. Awesome. So it's Ragnora with a different combo than usual, I guess. Or both combos. Both combos. This is heavy combo Ragnora. So this list looks quite nicely built, actually, because we've got a normal mana curve, like normal enough that I didn't spot the combo at first, with two spicy combos in. We've got the normal Ragnora style combo of Wild Inceptor plus Greater Fortitude to activate a Ripper from your Bloodborne spell and hit your opponent in the face for 10. And we've got Catalyst Quillbeast plus Blood Rage to give a unit a large buff and get in for a pile of damage. And I guess you can kind of combine the two. If you've got a Quillbeast out and a Ripper that's awakened, you can play Greater Fortitude on it, triggering the Quillbeast, followed by Blood Rage, triggering the Quillbeast again. And I think that works out such that the Ripper doesn't die. I can't remember the wording on Quillbeast. Anyhow, looking at this, we have a pretty standard curve of minions outside of that stuff. We have Cryptographer, Golden Metallurgist, solid 2-drops that have some strategic value. Ragebinder, very, very good 3-drop, one of the best in the game. Quillbeast is nice because it's removal, right? As well as being a combo piece, you can also just use it as a source of mass pains, which is really, really handy against Swarm and for winning combats. It's kind of like a mini Blistering Scorn that's repeatable. The only downside is it's a bit awkward with Ragnora's BBS because it kills eggs, although I can't remember which order the trigger occurs in because I haven't played with Quillbeast in a while. Moving out the curve, we have Thunderhorn, very solid 4-drop. Wild Inceptor, which is a nice combo piece that's also good for just BBS plus Inceptor on 5 mana. Lava Slasher, and Mercantile Warbeast. So we've got the usual stock of good stuff that allows the deck to function without necessarily having assembled its combos. You can still perfectly well win a game through normal means of killing their stuff and hitting them in the face. Spell-wise, we have Flash Reincarnation, which allows us to combo faster and goes well with Catalyst Quillbeast. Greater Fortitude, which also goes well with Quillbeast and which we need for the Ripper combos. Twin Fang, which is, I guess, another piece of the Blood Rage combo. So this deck is going to very consistently have some combo pieces in its hand because of the sheer number of redundant copies. 3 Blood Rage, which offhand I would say is probably too much. But I guess between Quillbeast, Thunderhorn, Mercantor, and just having a bunch of minions in play, you can quite easily stack up some damage and then just Blood Rage for like +4 or something to make a value play. 2 Eggmorph, which is good removal as well as being a combo piece. Homeostatic Rebuke, which is a nice catch-all AoE. Over in the sideboard, we have 3 Lava Lance, which I have to assume is for, again, coming against aggro, where people will try and rush you down quickly and you need to be able to kill their stuff. 1 Embryotic Insight, which I guess helps against control. I'd actually like to see more of those. This deck is exactly the sort of thing that needs draw, because you've got 2 different combos with a bunch of redundant pieces that aren't always applicable to the current board state. 3 Lightbender, that's a good choice, good against walls, good against Desolators, anything that needs dispelling. It's probably the most efficient dispel card. You know, EMP is obviously more powerful, but it's really expensive, whereas Lightbender you can pretty much always play. And 3 Sunsteel Defenders, which is a nice kind of mid-rangey inclusion, I guess, for when you need to cut combo pieces and move the deck in a more kind of straightforward direction. On the other side of the table we have, I'm in the wrong tab, Muzzyrella's Mantra. This looks like a fairly stock Mantra list. Not that I'm a massive expert. We do have 3 Spiral Technique as well as 3 Mantra, which is, I would guess, is probably too much. This build has Blood Range Mask, which I do like, it's very good in the deck, Rocket Up Terror, which I also like, and Adjudicator, which is, I think, mostly considered necessary. In fact, this is entirely 3-ofs. Even the sideboard is 3 3-ofs and no 1-off to go with it. Possibly that's an aesthetic choice. The main thing this version is lacking is any damage buffs on the spells. So there's no Crescent Spear, which is probably a budget choice. Crescent Spear is not cheap. There's no 8 Gates, probably likewise. I guess those cards are both legendaries. And there's no Storm Sister Alcyone, who could be a substitute for this. although she's a bit expensive. She's a bit clunkier than the other two. Or even Wildfire Tenketsu. So it's going to be a bit harder for this deck to control board properly. The sideboard will help a bit with that. There's Juxtaposition, which seems a little out of place because you're not often going to have a minion of your own to play it on. The Spiral Counter, which is probably quite good. And Thunderbomb, which is a very solid card in general. Usually main decked, actually. I think the main thing this list does need is the damage buffs. I guess the Spiral technique helps with that if you can survive long enough. But the spell damage buffs, they don't just help you kill your opponent. They really, really help you win board in the early game, because basically all of Songhai's removal is much better when you buff the damage. Phoenix Fire is still good, but Ghost Lightning, Gotatsu, and Twin Strike are fine by themselves and bonkers with spell damage. You know, 8 gates Ghost Lightning is a nice combo that can just wipe an entire board out of nowhere. Similarly, you also have the Rocks of Rocket Terra, and those are really strong with spell damage. But I like the use of Blood Rage Mask to kind of make up for that a little bit, because Blood Rage Mask is pretty good. That card can easily contribute 5 damage, which is a big deal. That's a lot of pain. So let's get to the game. Close that. We're looking at Conezilla to start with. So this opening hand, you're seeing Shidai on the other side of the table. Most of the time, Shidai means Mantra, so you got to get aggressive. This Twin Fang is okay, but a bit slow. A lot of the time, your minions, like these are fairly chunky minions, so there's a good chance that they can get damaged twice. But it's going to take you a while to reach your opponent with this, and if they have a Blood Rage Mask or are just throwing damage at your face in the meantime, you'll lose it before you actually get to do much with it. Crypto on turn 1 seems quite good. The egg might get Gotatsu'd, but if it doesn't, you get to put down a Ripper, which can zoom across the board and play something, like you can play Thunderhorn in your opponent's face on turn 2, and that's pretty strong. Thunderhorn, you definitely want. This is a strong turn 2 play that's reasonably hard for a Songhai player to remove, and can help clear up random minions, like you can hit them and their Adjudicator or something, so you don't have to waste time or health killing the Adjudicator. Lava Slash is pretty bad in this matchup. It is a decent sized creature, but considering that you could be curving out or healing or, you know, drawing cards or anything else, I guess there's not a lot of heal or draw in this deck, but you know, I mean, 1, 2, 3 is a pretty reasonable keep. There's an argument on that basis, but I would honestly want to look for, like, probably the best card that Magmar has against Mantra is Warbeast, because it hits them in the face and helps ping off artifacts. And I found my usual game plan in this matchup is just to throw Macantos at them until they die, which is a bit easier when you're playing Keeper because you can get them back, but even when I'm not, like, just try and Macanto them as much as possible. It really, really helps race. So I would want to mulligan 2 cards here, looking for, like, if you can go this into, like, Flash Macantor into Macantor, that puts a lot of damage on the opponent, it's a lot of pressure, and can help you win. So I would want to mulligan the Lava Slasher. We'll see what Conezilla chose to do. As usual, although I can pause for a while to discuss the opening hands, looks like Conezilla's just going to mulligan the expensive cards, which is pretty reasonable. Excuse me. Yeah, as usual, I'll have to speak a little more quickly during the games themselves, because it's very awkward to keep the two in sync if I want to pause and discuss things. So looking at Muzzy's hand here, this is an okay hand, I guess. You've got a removal spell, you've got an Adjudicator, which is a very important card, and a Mantra, which is very important to discount. From Conezilla's perspective, I think I prefer jamming the Catalyst Quill Beast here because it's bigger. It's much less vulnerable to removal. Like, your opponent will have to use multiple cards on it, potentially. Whereas this, the 2/2 just dies to being punched in the face, and the 0/1 can get killed by a Gotatsu. I think these are slightly ahead here. I'm just going to pause this for a moment. Looks like playing the Adjudicator is the right play here. Get that discount. I guess you do want to Ghost Lightning that egg. It's worth it, and Ghost Lightning doesn't do very much against Magmar. Although, if the egg does come out and attack you, like, there's a chance that your opponent can Great to Fortitude it. So I think you do want to play the Adjudicator here, but Blood Rage Mask as well. Or just the Mask, okay. Saving the Adjudicator to try and get more value. That's fine. This is reasonable. That's a good play. Right, so now, what can we do? Not a lot. Just play a Thunderhorn, I guess. At this point, you want to trade damage. It's a bit awkward to have to do that, but getting rid of Blood Rage Mask is really important. Oh, this is good, actually. Yeah, you can play the Rage Binder and heal up. That's a much better play than the Thunderhorn. I hadn't spotted that. Hey, thanks. Thanks for joining. What replay is this? This is Conezilla versus Muzzyrella in round 1 of Rookie Brawl 6. This is the first game. We just started. I'm not sure I like replacing Onyx Bear Seal there from Muzzy. Like, your opponent will have big minions. You will have to kill them. And this looks a little awkward. We're going to lose the Blood Rage Mask now. Conezilla really wants to draw Mantra and Ragnora here. But if not, I guess the Quill Beast is okay. What do we get off this? Muzzy's hand is pretty bad now. In Conezilla's position, you definitely want to replace here because Mantra is such a good draw. I mean, this is fine. Oh, I guess we'll see how this interacts. It is when, so it'll happen first. Oh no. Okay, yeah. Awesome. So you can get an egg. But you can't cast Greater Fortitude and have the Ripper survive, which is a bit awkward. However, next turn, there's a high chance of lethal. What's Muzzy got? This is where Thunder Bomb will be useful. Kiyomaro to run away is fine. I think you do have to Rocket Up Terror here. Kill the Rage Binder with it, I guess. Maybe you step down to here-ish. Rocket here, kill this, but you have to get rid of this as well. Very awkward. Can you Mantra here? No. There's nothing. Possibly the play is just to run away. Use Kiyomaro and Mist Walking to clear some distance. Play the Rocket Up Terror and pass. And hope next turn. If you draw like Mana Vortex, next turn you can go... Oh no, you need more mana for that. This is fine, you can walk onto the mana tile, I guess, as well. Oh, they're not doing it. Okay, so I guess in this point they're hoping to get the mana tile for a Mantra, which is pretty reasonable. So Conezilla has probably lethal next turn. Oh yeah, we can do this now, that's good. So I think you attack... I don't know if maybe you buff the Quill Beast here? No, I guess you buff the Rage Binder, because the Quill Beast is less. You don't actually want the Quill Beast very much. That said, keeping a 5-2 around is worth it compared to... Yeah, you want to keep this. If you're casting a tournament, maybe you want to change the stream's title. Thank you, I totally forgot to do that. I opened the tab and then got distracted. Awesome. Nothing to see here. Fixed it. It's all perfect. Does Muzzy have outs here? This is where a spell damage would be really nice. I think you have to Mantra. You can Mantra for 6 damage. That is nothing. Yeah, I think you need to clear. But this uses up so much resource. It's a bit awkward. So Gitatsu on that. Attack the egg. Plays the Mantra. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. Is that lethal here? No. We're not too far off. I think you attack with the 3-1 as well. Trading damage there is a little bit bold. I guess, so you do get to see that Muzzy's played out the 5-mana Mantra, but they could always have another one or a Spiral. I guess Mono Vortex Spiral isn't lethal. So maybe that's safe. So she would have to Mantra for 10 damage. It's pretty hard off only 3 cards. It's pretty usable. I think you want a Kiyomara here as well. Or can you get far enough away? Maybe you can't get far enough away. You can get to here. Can you get to here with Kiyomara? I can't remember. I guess it's kind of fine to go to 1. Oh, that's a good hit. Okay, so Muzzy has the top deck Spiral here in order to win. But at least can run away for a couple turns and hope that Conezilla doesn't have combo. Strategically, I'm not sure if I'm that keen on either of some of the timing that these players have done with their combos. Like, it's possible that from Muzzyrella's perspective, if they hold off on the Mantra, use the Gutatsu, draw an extra card, possible they can, and then Bloodborne spell to set up, it's possible they can just clear the board and then try and find a slightly bigger Mantra the following turn, or in 2 turns. Holding on to 5-mana Mantra, which is a pretty valuable thing to have. From Conezilla's point of view, maybe putting your opponent down. You do have to be aggressive, and I guess having the opportunity to make a big-ish Wild Inceptor play might have been worth going for anyway. But it's possible that just holding out for the... Like, next turn you could have done the 10 damage out of hand combo. And that might have been lethal, especially if the opponent decided not to go for Mantra. Whereas this way you kind of expend your resources and force the issue. I don't think I like this Onyx Bear here. Like that 2-3 is not a threat. Although, paying off, because Muzzy's not getting any life here. Conezilla even not getting any life here. What's Muzzy got in hand? Nothing. Is there a card budget for this tournament? There is not, but usually people will tend to have budget decks just because it invites new players very explicitly. I think Muzzy's deck is a little bit affected by budget because they don't have Crescent Spear or 8 gates. Conezilla looks like what they're doing is pretty deliberate. They don't look like there are any budget decisions. Oh, that Phoenix Fire is so close. What can you do here? You have to Kiyomaro to run away. Do you die to the Ripper? You do die to the Ripper. So you have to Ghost Lightning. Yep. So Muzzy has like a bajillion lethal outs. They can draw... Oh, Cobras. Oh, there we go. They have lethal now. What can Conezilla draw? Eggmorph. That almost gets there. Oh wait, they have the Bloodborne spell. Of course it gets there. What am I talking about? Wow, that was pretty clutch. That was close. There's a lot of things Muzzy could have drawn that turn to win it, so Conezilla had to kind of sweat the lethal for a couple turns. But I think if either player had been a bit more conservative with their combos, the game might have gone more favourably for them. I'm not sure. It's hard to say because it's draw dependent and it's very difficult to plan for exactly what your opponent has in hand. And like, it's easy for me to say that because it doesn't matter if I get it wrong and, or at least for me, and I can see both their hands. And even then, I'm not sure it's obvious what the right decision is, even with my kind of biased thinking. Let's bring this up. Lovely. Yeah, I was referring to coverage. Ah, awesome. Yeah, that's the business for today. So, looking at this hand, got a Mantra already. I don't know if you need that in the opener. Rocket Up Terror is definitely good to have. It's something you can just throw out on the first turn to help trade. And you can either replace the ping or just keep hold of it. Definitely want Kotatsu in this matchup because it kills eggs efficiently. But I think Blood Rage Mask is good on the first turn as well. Like, you can do turn 1 Rocket Up Terror, Blood Rage Mask and be fairly well set up. So I might want to replace Blood Rage and Mantra, looking for ways to buy time. We're going to go turn 1 Rocket Up Terror plus Blood Rage Mask, and hopefully turn 2 and 3 removal, and see where it goes from there. It's also good to find an Adjudicator, although it doesn't do a lot in this particular hand. Mantra dance game. Yeah, Mantra, I think Mantra is a pretty reasonable deck to play in tournaments. Although a common theme I'm seeing is people building like budget versions, which are way worse because the legendaries in them happen to be the spell damage cards, and you need those so much to make the removal suite work properly. So, onwards. It loses too hard to big stuff, IMO. Yeah. I don't think it's like, I don't think it's likely to win you the event necessarily, but I think it's a decent choice. Especially in a format like this. We've got some syncing issues here. Awesome. So, Conezilla played Cryptographer instead of the Golem Metallurgist on turn 1, which I don't agree with. But I think it's going to work out okay. I mean, I guess you don't have the Lava Slasher for turn 2, but I like having the unit that's slightly more resilient. And you can play Crypto plus Bloodborne spell next turn and kind of make it a surprise. So this looks really awkward here, because there's no... Like, without the Rocket Up Terror, this hand looks a lot worse. Not having that random 2-3 body to play on the first turn. Mist Walking. I don't like this at all. Wow. That's way too aggressive. Like, you don't want that. You want to use the Twin Strike next turn. So now the Twin Strike's not going to have a target either. From the other side, we can do Metallurgist plus Flash Thunderhorn. I don't really like that. It's too soft to Twin Strike. There's no real need to play the Catalyst on the mana tile. You could play it on the mana on the tile behind the opponent. No, that doesn't work. Can't quite reach. I guess Flash Thunderhorn sort of works. It's a 4-3 still. That's not terrible. But I think I prefer this play. So on Muzzy's side of things, we get Twin Strike plus Kotatsu here. Maybe with the second Blood Rage Mask. I mean, you either want to play the second mask immediately or replace it immediately, because it's good to have options. I don't really like taking that mana tile either. You deny it to the opponent, but they can just go and use the other one. So there's the mask gone, and the Thunderhorn is in play. But Muzzy's hand looks pretty good now. Conezilla's flooded on Flash Reincarnations, which is super awkward, but at least they can go Thunderhorn into Thunderhorn and have a good time. This is not great. I guess you can, yeah, Blood Rage plus Onyx Bear Seal. Can't BBS. Oh wait, Blood Rage is 2 mana now, isn't it? It got nerfed. I forgot about this. Does explain why they didn't play it last time. Right, so we have... Lava Slash is a fine top deck. It's big. It threatens. Possibly it's better to do Thunderhorn plus Egg though. Yeah. I like this play. It plays around Twin Strike a bit. It's really awkward that Conezilla wants to trade damage here. I'm not sure I would. I guess it does set up to be able to kill the mask next turn with attack plus Thunderhorn, but you're taking so much damage in the process. And if they kill the Thunderhorn, it gets worse. This is where spell damage would be amazing. I think you just play all that stuff right. You Ghost Lightning, Gatatsu, Cobra Strike. It's not great, but you're getting Blood Rage Mask pings. You're getting damage in on the face. So the fact that you're making this Mantra worse is not too bad. Conezilla's going down to 9 and can't clear the mask anymore unless they rip Mercantor. Definitely replace Egmorph here. Oh god, what a terrible hand. That's rough. They can do Metallurgist plus Lava Slasher and surround the opponent a bit. I would also, at this point, I think I would back off. So I would, if I was Conezilla, I'd probably go and stand. Excuse me. Probably go and stand here and play the Lava Slasher there, because blocking off the opponent's ability to move this way isn't a big deal. That attack I would not have made, because you can't clear the mask anyway, and you're just putting yourself way too close to lethal here. Yeah, no, this is just game. Always put healing in your deck. Always play healing. You have to respect Mantra. It's very hard to kill them before they kill you if you don't have any healing. And it's much easier if you do. Especially Earthsphere, which is like the most efficient healing in the game. Right, so we're going to swap back to Conezilla on the big screen for game 3. These replays ahead of time and then just put the links somewhere rather than having to dig through them. Sundrop is really obnoxious too. It can be. If you're playing aggro, it's a bit rough. No plays from Muzzy on turn 1. Mantra on turn 1's a bit awkward. But you can Blood Rage Mask sometimes. Stops all my smoking. Yeah, it would definitely be good in this matchup. I should probably play Sundrop more. Although, I always end up wanting, like, in my Zeran decks, it's just a bit awkward to have a card that is pure healing, no board presence, no like sanctify targets, whatever. It is sweet though. In fact, it didn't even end up making it into that Ruby Rifter deck we built. My opponent is cheating, he's playing healing and provoke minions. Oh, how unfair. Taunt needs nerf. That's a pretty good Adjudicator. I guess a necessary Ghost Lightning. This move is a bit odd. Like, you may as well take the Santa and kill this, because you don't have Twin Strike in hand, and you can take either of these Mana Tiles next turn, whereas the opponent can just deny it. Looks like they're not going to bother though. Conezilla, why didn't you go and play it here? I guess they were trying to set up for some combo. But it will die. It'll just get hit by the Adjudicator instead. And you don't care if this... You don't care about this being on the board. It's just what it deals damage to. So, like, trading your actual unit for basically a strategically irrelevant card is pretty harsh. From Muzzy's perspective, I think Rocket Terra Ping is good here. You can afford to replace something, probably the Mist Walking, looking for Gatatsu. But this is fine too. You can ping Petal Flurry. I think Muzzy's playing too defensively here, I think. Like, Conezilla's mostly... They're not playing artifacts or anything like that. They're mostly playing minions and passing. And this... Here, if they play a spell, all their stuff dies. But you can afford to go up here and take this Mana Tile. It's probably better, because now Conezilla can move down here and play Mercantil. And you've kind of walked into that by trying to play defensively. I wouldn't even ping, to be honest. It dies if one spell is played. No, but it's worth trying to get the Gatatsu. It does cycle. So it makes your deck smaller. It does remove this. Like, Conezilla can always just not play spells for a little while until they find buffs or, you know, manage to trade this into something. I would also deny tile for Mercantil. That is definitely necessary. Like, this is a big punish for Muzzy playing conservatively here. Like, it's important to remember what you're conserving yourself against and what your opponent's threat ranges are. This hand is looking good. I would replace the second OBS. Yep, I like it. Just need to find a mantra now. Cobra Strike on the Mercanto is pretty good. Do Petal Flurry and then play it, or I guess if you don't get something that's useful, you can play the 0 mana ping. Murasame, excellent. No, you have to ping. Yep. And then going here. Oh my. This hand is great, it just needs a mantra. Conezilla's hand looking a little awkward here. Finally just sacking the Quill Beast. I think it's worth it. The Quill Beast is not doing anything. Like, you may as well just get rid of it. Like, that Blood Rage is never going to do anything. Probably should have sided them out, I think. I think you do just want the egg here. Oh no, they're still going for it. So I guess you can move that up and next and it will get to trade in. Unless there's a Twin Strike. Adjudicator. Further Adjudicator not doing a ton. Is there a clear? I guess not. Well, you have to OBS the Thunderhorn, I suppose. Oh, you don't have to, but I would. That's very advisable. Like, 21 life is quite a lot, so if you keep clearing the board, keeping your life total high, especially high enough to play around the combo, you can buy yourself a lot of draw steps. Like, it'll take Conezilla like a couple of turns to even just put Mezzy into burst range. So from where you run out of removal, you still got about 2 or 3 turns to find lethal. And I guess there's no point in adjudicating here. You gain a mana. Although the adjudicator itself is worth something as a source of 3 damage. OBS, BBS, adjudicator. Oh yeah, he could adjudicate it first and then cast the Gatatsu. That would be good. I think you play the adjudicator in front here. Discard. I would not discard that. I would leave that where it is. Seems like an odd thing to be doing. Hand's looking decent. Still doesn't have a mantra in it though. Conezilla gets to play some decent minions at last. He would overdraw. Yeah, possibly. Hey, there's the mantra. So I guess you adjudicator and then try and win next turn. Like adjudicator mist walking to get out of this awkward spot. And then next turn you have 8 mana. You can do Phoenix Fire, Mist Walking, Cobra Strike, Mantra. It isn't lethal, but it's a lot of damage. Is that worth it? Maybe it's not worth it. Adjudicator Cobra just doesn't do that much. Like, I mean, I guess you can kill the Thunderhorn and take 4. But that's really awkward because the Adjudicator dies. I don't like using the Phoenix Fire. Like, you're giving up a lot of resources here. You've so at this point your Mantra turn is, after the Rocket Up Terror draws 9 damage, which is like not amazing. You can't use Cobra next turn anyways. You can if it costs 3. Conezilla's hand is basically empty. But at least the opponent is nicely boxed in at this point. Does Muzzyrella have any lethal top decks? That's pretty good. I guess you gotta go for that, right? You can go Blood Rage, Mistwalking, BBS, Mantra, which is... I don't think it's lethal, but it's like 2 off or something. Could have used Mistwalking to protect the Adjudicator if we really wanted. Yeah, I think I preferred the Mistwalking to the Mantraing, honestly. To the removal. I do like killing the 0-1 here. Teleporting away again. This is all working out okay. And then Mantra for a bit. And then I guess hopefully Muzzy can just run away and use the Blood Rage Mask to do the last few points of damage now. I mean, next turn is lethal. They have 2 spells in hand and she does BBS in play, so... Conezilla is dead, pretty much. If they replace Eggmorph and hit... No, that doesn't even do it. If they hit Grid of Fortitude, they can deal some damage, but like, that's it. Or at least replace the thing first. Homeostatic Rebuke, because it's just doing nothing. I like the positional block here, that's clever. Although you are very likely dead because Muzzyrella has 2 cards, and if both of them are spells or can be replaced into spells, you lose. Which means that Muzzy's hand would have to be like exactly like Adjudicator spell replacing into Adjudicator spell, because the Rocket Up Terror is a spell. Or double... No, Spiral would be lethal anyway. This is fine. Conezilla maybe still wins that game if they just have an Earth Sphere, though. I think that match was Con's to lose. Like, it was pretty close. Like, Muzzy had to use up all their resources every time and like barely got there. And there were loads of turns, like both games came down to a turn where Conezilla's on like 4 life and it's a bit touch and go and they're both top decking and trying to find lethal, and Conezilla's just drawing removal and like homeostatic rebukes and blood rages which don't do anything. And Muzzy's drawing like bad spells that might be just about enough. And of course then Muzzy can rip Spiral at any time and win, or Mantra at any time and win, thanks to Shido's Bloodborne spell. Whereas if Conezilla just had like an Earth Sphere to draw out the game for a couple more turns where they could pressure with their creatures, I think they would win pretty easily. I say pretty easily. They would have a decent chance of winning. Like, their odds go up a lot. So Conezilla, if you're watching this, you did well. I think you could have gotten there if you just put some healing in. And so if you want to beat Mantra, I would recommend putting some Earth Spheres in somewhere in your sideboard, probably. But maybe in the main if you can find things to cut for them. But yeah, that was an interesting match to watch. It was quite... I'm curious about what the like best, in heavy air quotes, timing for going off for both players actually would be. Like, there's definitely turns where you go for it. I think I would have done the same as Muzzyrella in the last game. Like, I think when they went off was right. Well, they were going to die if they didn't. I think I would have used cards a bit differently the previous turn. Like, you can afford to leave the Thunderhorn alive if you just run away from it. Although possibly it works out better to save the cheaper spells for the Mantra turn anyway. I'm not sure. Best time to go off is when you win. Oh, of course. Sometimes it's just lethal and you do it. But, like, even then, there are still some games where, you know, you go off and you kill your opponent, but it still would have been more... You would have had a higher chance of winning if you'd done something else. You know, gone off a previous turn and you just got lucky to not die, for instance, and then have the lethal, or you drew into it, or whatever. So,